The Incredibles 2 is once again directed and written by Brad Bird, and this picks up immediately after the first Incredibles ended, where we see the Parr family about to take on the villainous Underminer, and this movie kicks off straight from there. While superheroes are now illegal, Helen, aka Elastigirl, is recruited by a government called DevTech to actually bring supers back into the light and to promote them as to why they should be legalized. While all that's going on, we have Bob, aka Mr. Incredible, who is staying at home to look after Dash, Violet and Jack. And while all that's going on, we have a new villain arising from the ashes called the Screenslaver, who is stirring up a lot of trouble, and that is our story for The Incredibles 2. Now, there is no doubt in saying that this is the most anticipated animated sequel probably since Toy Story 3. This film has been in the works for, well, not even in the works, but we've been anticipating this movie for 14 years. And I thought we'd been waiting a long time for Avengers Infinity War. I mean, that was 10 years, but this is 14. This is so much bigger than that. And the fact that this sequel is as good as the original is pretty impressive. Notice I did say as good, not better. I will just get my one negative out of the way first. I feel like the villain of the Screenslaver was very weak, especially in comparison to the first movie with a fantastic villain in the form of Syndrome. I feel like this movie was really lacking in the form of its villain, and the Screenslaver was not only predictable, but also just quite boring, and I didn't find them to be a very ominous presence, and that was a real shame. All the performances in this film were absolutely phenomenal, as they were previously. We have all of the family returning, and they were absolutely incredible. They did actually change the voice actor for Dash for this movie, but it was honestly, I couldn't really tell the difference. I feel like the actor who played Dash, it could have been the same one. If I wouldn't have known that beforehand, I probably wouldn't have ever even seen it. But all of them were absolutely incredible, and I feel like, pardon the pun, but I feel like all of them gave a really awesome performance. And their voices, it sounded like they hadn't aged a day, especially because the actress who plays Violet is, of course, 14 years older than she was when she played her back in 2003 or 2004. And again, I can't tell the difference. Also, it's not really a secret to say that the animation in this film is top notch. Pixar are at the absolute top of their game when they do their animation. You know, you can see that when you just look back at all of their movies, but even when you look back at some of their previous ones like Coco or Cars 3, when you look at those movies and you also look at The Incredibles 2, the animation is so crisp and it's so clean, it's beautiful to look at, and it's such a gorgeous movie. The animation, it will just take your breath away, as it did me, and I'm sure it will you too. Also, the music in this movie is as astounding as it was before. When I was sat in the cinema and I just heard the Incredibles theme spike up for the first time, I got goosebumps all over my body. It was such a good moment. It's just one of those things when you hear a famous movie theme in the cinema for the first time. Like when I watched Star Wars The Force Awakens in the cinema and the opening crawl came up, I was absolutely shook. And the same comes here with The Incredibles 2 and the Incredibles theme song. It's so well done, and it's just such a great moment just to hear that theme on screen again. Perfection. Also, this movie manages to deliver some really epic action sequences, which I really did not expect. I feel like this movie just came out of the gates punching with all these different action sequences that were really exciting, enthralling, riveting, especially one to do with the train and Elastigirl. It was absolutely awesome. I was so surprised. And I feel like all the action in this film is really exciting, especially when you mix it with other characters like Frozone, who comes in. Frozone gets a bit more to play with here, which was really nice because Samuel L. Jackson, who doesn't want more of that? But I feel like Frozone mixed in with all these other elements of all the different action moments within the film, it just makes for a much more rounded movie. Also, I was really impressed with the world building that this movie does. This movie brings in loads of different superheroes from all around the world, and we get a different idea of all these different characters. Like, you would have seen the promotional material, you would have seen the character of Void, who is very similar to Vibe from the Flash TV show, but they are very similar characters. But again, not just her, but there's so many other characters who they bring in, and it really sets up this world of superheroes where, you know, superheroes are like a global network. And it really sets up the idea and builds the foundations for a really interesting and exciting third movie, if we ever get around to that 14 years in the future. But who knows when the third movie will come out. But if they are going to do a third Incredibles film, they've got a fantastic setup within this film that can really give us a great story in the third movie, should and when that happens. Overall, I think The Incredibles 2 was, dare I say it, the incredible sequel we all wanted. This film is as good as the original. Like I said, besides a very weak villain, this movie is as good as the original film. I feel like this movie did so much for Pixar, especially because Pixar has been in question recently about their sequels and about their originality, especially with films like Cars 3. You know, the fact that we got 2 Cars sequels before we actually got The Incredibles 2 made a lot of people question. I think Coco managed to bring people back, but I think The Incredibles 2 has really solidified Pixar once again as being the best animation studio within film right now, and The Incredibles 2 is such a great experience. Go head out to your local theatre and get this movie into your eyes as quick as you can. You will not regret it. So did you guys see The Incredibles 2? If you did, tell me all your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Were you disappointed by it? Did you find the movie to be underwhelming or overrated? I've seen a couple of people say that, so let me know all your thoughts about The Incredibles 2 in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, if you want to see more movie reviews from me, be sure to subscribe to my channel for more movie reviews. And I hope to see you again in my next video.